Xin chào các bạn, tôi là David. Rất hân hạnh được giới thiệu với các bạn chương trình luyện tập gôn từ người mới chơi cho tới người chiến thắng. Cú đánh ngắn. Cú đánh ngắn. Đây là nơi ai cũng có thể rèn luyện để tiến bộ, dù là người chơi lâu hay mới chơi. Nhưng nếu bạn muốn chơi tốt, bạn muốn rút gậy, bạn cần phải tập trung vào khoảng cách từ 60 m đổ lại, bởi vì chúng thực sự chiếm trên 50% tổng số gậy. Do đó bạn cần tập ít nhất một nửa thời gian. Nhiều người không làm như vậy, nên họ không ghi được điểm gần mức mà họ có thể đạt được. Nếu bạn thực hiện cú pitching khoảng 40 hay 20 yard qua hố cát, nếu bạn muốn đạt được par, thì bạn phải đánh bóng đủ gần cờ để có thể gạt một lần bóng xuống lỗ. Có nhiều lỗ mà bạn không thể đánh bóng on với số gậy chuẩn được. Các số gậy chuẩn như sau. Với đường gôn par 3, số gậy chuẩn là 1 hay 1 on. Nếu là đường gôn par 4, số gậy chuẩn là 2 hay 2 on. Nếu là đường gôn par 5, số gậy chuẩn là 3 hay 3 on. Nếu bạn không thể đánh theo số gậy chuẩn để đưa bóng on green, để đạt par, bạn cần đánh cú ngắn, đưa bóng lại gần cờ. Như vậy, cú pitching, đánh hố cát, cú pitching và cú gạt là rất quan trọng. Tôi không thể nói hết được. Nếu bạn muốn nghe lời khuyên của tôi thì sau khi xem, hãy tập kỹ các cú đánh ngắn. Về cú pitching, khoảng cách là 60 m, bạn cần sử dụng gậy có độ nghiêng rất lớn, gậy sen, loại gậy có độ nghiêng lớn nhất, hoặc là gậy pitching. Bạn sẽ muốn học cách thực hiện cú swing nhỏ. Chúng ta đã nói về cú swing nhỏ trước đó, còn đây thực sự là cú swing rất nhỏ. Bây giờ tôi sẽ đứng thật gần và hơi mở. Hơi mở có nghĩa là tôi đứng hơi lệch về bên trái. Nếu tôi đứng lệch sang phải, khi đó sẽ gọi là tư thế đóng. Ở đây tôi đứng hơi mở để có thể swing đánh bóng tới cờ. Tôi đặt bóng ở giữa hai chân. Lúc này bóng không có vẻ nằm ở giữa do góc nhìn lệch. Song do bàn chân tôi mở nên trông nó có vẻ hơi tiến lên một chút. Tôi hơi dồn trọng lực vào chân trước. Bây giờ hãy cầm gậy ngắn hơn một chút. Như vậy giúp bạn khống chế tốt hơn. Và đây là cú swing mà ta đang bàn đến. Hơi xoay mình, cổ tay được uốn một chút và swing ra trước. Bàn chân và đầu gối không cử động nhiều. Một động tác được khống chế. Và uyển chuyển, đó là yếu tố then chốt của cú đánh này. Thật uyển chuyển khi vung gậy và bạn sẽ kiểm soát được cú đánh. Hãy nhớ rằng nếu bạn muốn đánh bóng xa hơn, chỉ cần swing ra sau dài hơn, không được cố đánh mạnh hơn. Ngược lại, nếu muốn đánh gần hơn, bạn hãy swing ngắn hơn, chứ không cố đánh nhẹ hơn. Như vậy, chiều dài của đường swing quyết định khoảng cách của cú đánh. Thực ra không có gì khó khăn, chỉ cần thực hành chút ít. Tôi muốn bạn đứng chân hơi mở một chút, hơi dồn trọng lực sang bên trái, với chân, tay và vai theo hướng chân. Cầm ngắn gậy hơn. Bạn vừa biết thêm một thuật ngữ thường thấy trên TV. Choking. Hơi dồn trọng lực lên chân trước, rồi thực hiện cú đánh có kiểm soát. Hãy cố giữ gậy lại ở vị trí kết thúc. Hãy hình dung cú đánh trong đầu. Hãy nhớ khi đánh bóng từ đây, bằng gậy mặt nghiêng, bóng bay lên nó sẽ không bay xa, sẽ rơi xuống green và lăn vài chục cm. Vậy là một cú đánh đẹp, uyển chuyển. Hình dung quả bóng lên cao và rơi xuống green, rồi chạy tới gần cờ. Hãy thư giãn, hình dung trong đầu cú swing mình sẽ đánh. Thật tuyệt nếu bạn đánh được như vậy, bóng tiến tới gần cờ và bạn cứu được par. Vì vậy, hãy thực hành nhiều cú đánh này, bạn sẽ thấy rất thú vị và hưng phấn. Nào, hãy hình dung và cứu được par.
Here we are lying in the sand. about a 20-yard shot. And this is a very scary proposition to many golfers. Now the reason, I think for the most part, is that we're so trained to actually strike the ball. On this occasion, we don't want to hit the ball. We want to hit the sand behind the ball and let the ball ride out on the sand. So it's getting used to actually hitting a portion of sand behind the ball, accelerating through and getting the ball out. And that is your major objective. Get the ball out of the bunker, onto the green, onto the surface. Once you start to do that with regularity and you have no fear of the sand, then you can start to think about getting them close to the hole. Now, from a technique standpoint, it's not that difficult if you can understand exactly what takes place. And that means in swinging the golf club here, we have to make sure that we feel like we're actually going to be swinging slightly across the ball. Now, what you want to do, let me explain that. What you want to do is stand a little open. We've already told you what that is, all right? That's standing to the left. We want to stand a little bit open. And then what we want to do is to bury your feet in the sand. Give yourself a firm footing. If you lose your footing here, you can lose your balance, and the problem is you're not going to hit the right part of the sand. Now, what I want you to do is to open the club face, so take your sand wedge, obviously, open the club face slightly, and then take your grip. So we're actually gripping with a slightly open face. This just really helps the club to get through the sand, and that's important. You don't want it to dig in. If it digs in, especially if it's very heavy sand, the ball's not going to go very far. So what we want to do is bury our feet in, get good balance, and then look, probably somewhere 2 to 3 inches behind the ball. Now I'm going to put a line in the sand. Now officially you cannot touch the sand. That's a penalty. But I'm going to do that at this stage just to show you that you want to aim probably 2 to 3 inches behind the ball in that general vicinity. And then as long as you make sure you swing through and hit that point, hopefully the ball will come out with the sand. All right, so let's see how we do. Now, standing a little open, a little left. See, my feet are to the left of the flag here. All right, important to picture that. A little bit left, probably about 30 degrees or so. And then what I'm trying to do is to swing the club back on the line of my body. Don't take it in here, and don't try to take it out anymore. Just swing it back on the line of your body and then through. And the big thing is to make sure that you keep down on the shot. Don't try to help it out. All these shots around the green, don't try to lift the ball in the air. Try to keep the flex in the knees and swing through. So look at that point about 2 to 3 inches behind the ball. Focus on that, not the ball, and make sure your club accelerates right through. So don't stop when you hit the sand. The key ingredient is to almost feel that you're knocking the sand out onto the green. If you can do that, the ball will definitely come out. Okay, now relax, don't grip it too tightly, and try to visualize and picture a perfect shot in your mind once again. So stay slightly open, along the line of my feet, watch the point and follow through. Now the important thing is to make a nice smooth swing. Don't fear the shot. If you fear the shot, you'll get tight, you'll get tense, and you really won't follow through. So let me hit one more for you. Now I'm going to try to hit this one a little further, and you're going to see I'm going to be a little more aggressive with my follow through. So in order to get the ball going a little further, I've got to hit it a bit harder. So my follow through might be a little bit longer, but make sure whatever you do, follow through. Don't stop at the sand. That's the golden rule out of the sand. Look a couple of inches behind it, get your posture right with a nice knee flex, and then accelerate the club all the way through. Try to hit the sand all the way to the hole. As with all these shots, it takes some practice. So put a few balls in a practice bunker and hit them out. Say if you have a long shot and you feel you can't get to the hole with a sand wedge, you might even use a pitching wedge or a 9-iron. That's a good little tip for you. So practice it and you'll have no fear out of bunkers. say? Practice makes perfect. And that is very true for these little chip shots around the green. Now let me define a chip shot. A chip shot is one where the ball bounces onto the green and rolls a fairly substantial distance. In other words, it'll roll more than it will carry. And when you get close to the green, if ever you have the opportunity of doing that, make sure you play a chip shot rather than a lofted shot. You almost want to picture that you're tossing a ball. Okay, if I was going to visualize this shot, I'd take the ball in my right hand and I'd do this. Now, as close as I can get to that technique, the better. So it's very much a case of swinging the club like a pendulum. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas how to get really good at chipping. Now, first of all, probably select two clubs that you would normally chip with. I'm using a 7-iron here for a fairly lengthy chip. As I get closer to the green, a shorter chip, I'm probably going to use a 9-iron. So if you use a 7-iron and a 9-iron, that's not bad. That's pretty good. You might use an 8 or a 6, but I would suggest for most players a 7-iron and a 9-iron. Now, what you want to do, you want to grip all the way down almost to the metal, right at the end of the grip. You want to have your feet fairly close together, just a few inches apart. Maybe the left foot pulled back just a touch. You can see here, just pulled back just a little bit. And then, with the ball opposite my right toe almost, have a little bit more weight favoring the left side. Now, the trick here is to make sure that you don't use any wrists. People have problems where they flip their wrists in this fashion here. They try to scoop the ball. The firmer your wrists are, the better. The more like a pendulum, the better. So this left hand always stays firm. You never want to see your left hand breaking down, as we term it. So what I like to think of is taking this triangle formed by my arms and my shoulders, moving it back and through. So if you think in terms of triangle back, triangle through, pretty much on a straight line, you will find with a little bit of rhythm, remember, rhythm and smoothness are very important in these shots. Swing it back and through, make sure that left hand stays nice and firm. So, straight back and straight through, swing the triangle, and make sure you really watch the ball. That's key. A lot of players miss these shots, or miss-hit these shots because they move their head too early. So keep your eyes focused on the ball. Now, we set up to it, we picture the shot once again. Notice how keen I am on you trying to picture that shot the whole time. Get a positive picture in your mind of what you're about to do, and then get over the shot, swing the triangle back, swing the triangle through. Pretty good. Now, forward just a little bit closer, and I'm going to use my 9-iron, same technique, visualize the shot, triangle back, triangle through, have a couple little practice swings before you actually hit the shot. Make sure you just brush the grass, and really there's hardly any body motion, very much a hands, arms and shoulder motion, moving that triangle back and through. You don't want to move your legs all over the place, otherwise you'll miss-hit the shot. And then visualize it and hit the shot. Plunk. Oh, that's dead easy, isn't it? There's a lot of feel involved in these shots. You'll find that once you get experience, you'll be able to hit all sorts of different shots around the greens. But for now, for consistency's sake, keep it simple, keep it easy. Just use your 7-iron for longer chip shots, your 9-iron for shorter chip shots, and focus on getting a nice smooth motion and picture the roll. If you can learn to do that and get the ball close, you might even knock a few in just like I did there. Putting, yes, it's often called a game within a game. The fact is, it's at least half the game. Remember that really if you're an average putter, you'll probably have 2 putts per green. That's 36 putts. Any more than that and you're totally wasting shots. The pros average around 28 putts around. So you've got a lot of work to do when you start this game in order to become a good putter. But really, if you want to improve your score, really become a good putter. That should be your goal. It's fun to practice. Not that many people do, but it is fun to practice and very, very rewarding. Now, there's some simple things that you want to follow in order to become a good putter. First of all, as with chipping, you don't want to use a lot of wrists. You want to keep the wrists out of the stroke. You want to make it a nice firm movement with your arms and your shoulders. If, when you put the putter on your leg like so, you just flex your knees, all right, and let your hand hang in front, just simply let your arms and shoulders move together. No knee movement. You can see, if I move, I can see the putter moving. So just rest the putter on your leg like so. Good little exercise. And then just move your arms and shoulders together. Okay, this is the praying position, as we say, because a few prayers do help, especially when you're on the green. All right, so we move arms and shoulders together, and the putter pretty much moves straight back and through. Now I have a ruler here, just to help me. You can use a line on a carpet or anything that allows you to see the direction that the putter swings. Now what I want to do is position myself in such a way that my eyes are pretty much on top of the ball. Okay, take your normal grip. At this stage, I would suggest just take one grip that you use for all your shots. Don't make it too complicated. There are different grips which you'll learn, I'm sure, as you get more experienced. But for now, just your regular grip will do just fine. So all I want you to do is get your eyes over the ball, relax your arms, just feel like your arms are just resting on your chest. Flex your knees a little bit and take the putter back nice and low and fairly straight back and through. Pretty much the length of the putter going back equals the length of the putter going through. You also want to keep your head nice and still. We see this with many golfers. They're looking for where the ball's gone before they've even hit it. So make sure you stay nice and still. Keep these legs nice and firm, and remember, almost straight back and through. The putter face must be square when you make contact. And relax your grip. Very important to have a nice smooth stroke. Good tempo with a putt is just as important as it is with a full swing. Now, you've got short putts which you hopefully knock in, and you have longer putts. Now remember, in order to hit a longer putt, don't just think you've got to hit it harder. The key with putting is to make sure that you graduate your stroke. The longer the putt, the longer the stroke. If you can learn to do that, you can really gain some consistency. I see many golfers, they have a little short stroke and then try to help it, or they have a long stroke and then slow down through the ball. Very important with putting that you accelerate the putter at all times through the ball. So remember, eyes over the ball, back, through. It'll be fairly short back and through for a short putt. You can see when I make this putt, this is about a 4 foot length, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, stay nice and still. Now as I go back for a longer putt, which really what I'm trying to do is get the ball close to the hole. I expect to hole these ones, but the longer putts, what I want to do is just get them close. Remember, you don't want to waste shots. You want to make sure that you get the ball close enough so you have a maximum of 2 putts. If you 3-putt a hole or 4-putt a hole, you're wasting strokes. So let's go back and hit a longer putt. Right, now probably I've got about a 35-foot putt here, and this is really all about feel, just trying to get the ball close to the hole. Now, one of the things to become a good putter, you have to learn to read the putt. So that means you'll see with the slope whether it's going to move left to right or right to left. Sometimes you have grain. This all takes experience. Now this putt is going a little bit uphill, so it's going to be a little slow, so make sure you become adept at actually reading greens, sensing how the ball has to roll in order to get close to it. It takes a little practice, but this you can do on a practice putting green. So what I'd do, I'd get behind the ball and I'd visualize it. And once again here, I like to work on a routine as well with my putting to make sure I'm nice and relaxed and do the same thing each time. So that's something you can work on as well as you really get the feel for putting. Now all I'm trying to do is visualize a line going to the hole. It's going to break a little bit from left to right, a few inches, and I'm going to see if I can get it close. I try to imagine a 2-foot circle around the hole, because if I can leave myself a 2-foot putt, I'm reasonably confident I can knock that one in. So all I'm going to do, once again, I'm going to get my eyes over the ball, get nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable, look at the hole, and then stroke the putt. Oh, that one just missed. A little bit fast, a little bit firm I should say, but not bad. Now, remember, the stroke needs to be a little bit longer if you've got a longer putt. Don't jab it. Make a nice, confident, smooth stroke. All it takes is practice. It's feel, a little bit of technique, and you'll be amazed if you have a good, positive, confident attitude, you're going to knock a lot of putts in. So you must practice your short game. The pitching, the sand play, chipping and putting. If you can get good in that department, your handicap will come down so quickly and you'll be shooting lower scores than you could ever believe possible. So by all means, work on your long game, but practice that short game. Please do that. Well, you've all been working very hard on your games. Now for the real test, to see if you can take what you've learned out onto the golf course. The golf course is a very different proposition to the practice tee, because out here you've only got one shot. There's all sorts of hazards, there's out of bounds, there's water hazards, there's bunkers, and so on and so forth. So it really is a matter of learning how to score, and that's what it's all about now. So I'm going to show you and give you a couple of thoughts how to take your game out onto the golf course.